Absolutely incredible, guys.
All right, guys, what is going on? Actually, wanted to do a video on the reasons that I love this bike and why I am definitely keeping it. Started off on dirt bikes, then went to Harleys, then went to, rode some crotch rockets for a while, and then had a Triumph Tiger 800, and now ended up with this baby. And man, it is just a world of difference from where I started. So if you're interested in the reasons why I absolutely love this motorcycle, stay tuned and let's get after it. All right, so I'm actually a huge fan of the Boxer engine. I love the protection that it gives me when I'm actually riding down the road. I feel like if I drop the bike, it's gonna hit before my legs do, which is a huge bonus. I really like that about the bike. And I just like how it looks. It's very unique and it delivers a really unique style of power. And I just love how it sounds. I think the Boxer engine is awesome. I love that it kind of rocks back and forth a little bit. And yeah, it's been a design that's worked for them since 1980. When they first came out with the Boxer engine, and so they've had plenty of years to really perfect the engine, and I think it's really well built. So good job to the Germans on some nice German crafting of the Boxer engine. All right, so a couple of things, I took some notes, but I think a couple of things that I really love about this bike is how much balance I actually get from the motorcycle. It's super well balanced. Whenever I'm leaning into a corner or doing anything kind of challenging, or I've got a tight corner coming up, it's a big bike, and I love that I feel super confident on this thing. Never have any problems. I mean, if I move my body, the bike moves with me. It doesn't feel like I have to really pull the bike. It kind of just goes where I go. It really becomes an extension of myself, because you actually have this really low down balance, which gives the bike a really unique characteristic when you're riding it. And that's one of the reasons that I went with the GS, is because especially the 1250, is because I just love the balance. I love that low down power. I love how it feels. So another few things that I really love about this bike, guys, it is a bit dirty right now, so I apologize right off the bat, but I love the screen on this thing. The TFT screen is absolutely incredible. I've ridden a ton of motorcycles. I've never had a motorcycle that had a TFT screen this beautiful. I mean, this thing is just amazing. It's super easy. You've got the Wonder Wheel here that you can kind of navigate with. So if I'm going through the menu options, I can just kind of use the Wonder Wheel here and scroll through and select back and forth. Another few things that I really like about the GS is you can actually integrate the lights, which I've done with my D4s down here. Is you can get the CanSmart system, you can integrate everything in, and everything is right into my controls. So, you know, my brights brings the lights up. If I double tap, the lights go nuts there. So everything's integrated here. I can actually hold back the Wonder Wheel and scroll up, scroll down, and adjust my lights. I can hold the blinker button and it turns my auxiliary lights off or on. So you just really have a lot of options with a luxury motorcycle like this. And yeah, TFT is absolutely incredible. It's easy to see at a glance. You know, you get something like the Triumph, it's kind of hard. I've ridden the 1200, not the 2022, but 2021. And in my review on my channel, you can see the TFT just isn't as bright. It doesn't have as many options to really see it, you know, at a glance. I want safety, right? I want to be able to see this at a glance when I'm on the street. So I just want something easy to see, and this bike gives me that. All right, so something else that actually really bothered me about my Triumph is I really felt like the Triumph actually was quite shifty in the wind. Didn't like that. This thing, I actually really like the weight. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's an adventure motorcycle. I like the weight. I like the weight to be lighter, and I know that they added a few pounds the last couple years with the GS iterations. They've actually added weight instead of taken away, and some of the other manufacturers like Triumph has done a great job of taking weight off as they've given the bike more power, and it seems like BMW kind of keeps giving more weight. So, but I actually really like the weight because it makes for a smoother ride, and in the wind and things like that, it kind of gives me a little bit more stability. You know, it's a bigger bike, it's a little bit heavier. My Triumph Tiger 800, you know, I really had a problem in the wind. I kind of felt really insecure. I felt like the bike was being rocked around a lot. This thing with the power and the weight, it just cuts right through all of that. And again, going back to the engine, to 1250, I know that the torque, everybody wishes they had a little bit more torque, but You know, I love this bike. I've never really wanted for more power. You know, maybe if I'm cruising at some higher speeds, I would have liked the gearing to be a little bit different. Maybe it would have been cool for sixth gear to be in another gear as opposed to a kind of like an overdrive, because I think the sixth gear on this, correct me if I'm wrong, is more like an overdrive. It's not actually a sixth gear where you're getting like, you know, a whole bunch of extra power. So, but you know, it's great. I get pretty good gas mileage with this for a 1250, and filtering as well. I will say I live here in Portugal, so I'm in Europe, and I was riding every day to Lisbon this week in city traffic in the mornings, tons and tons of traffic. Everybody here is very mindful of motorcycles, but they actually allowed me to filter pretty easily. Sometimes I worry about the boxer engine because it does stick out a little bit wider, but I had no problems, man. You know, scooters of course get through traffic a little bit quicker because they're smaller, but honestly, they weren't much ahead of me. At the end of the day, I normally caught up to them and got around them because they don't have any power, but filtering wasn't really a problem if you're in a country where filtering or splitting lanes, as we say in the States, is a big thing. But honestly, I think filtering with this thing is super easy, not a problem. Boxer engine, not a big deal. So still a great pick for you if you're a commuter. This bike is so great for two-up riding, guys. Like if you are thinking of riding with your wife, my wife loves this. I got the BMW. This came with the comfort seats on there, the BMW comfort seats, and I've never sat on a more comfortable seat in my entire life on a motorcycle. This seat is amazing. I thought the stock GS seat was amazing. Man, the GS comfort seats, I don't know how much they are. I think they're like a $500 upgrade or something like that. I don't know. I need to look it up and see. But these things, oh my gosh, if you're considering doing it and you're buying a new bike, get the comfort seats. They're incredible. My wife says this is super comfortable. I know I've ridden really long trips on this. I did I don't know, we did like 2,000 kilometers or a little over, I don't know how many it is. I'll put the conversion on the screen, but we did a bunch of miles up north through Spain this last year, and this thing was super comfortable. I never felt like my butt was going to sleep or anything, so it was super great. Comfort seats, definitely a plus. Love these things. I think something else that even makes it more comfortable for my wife is the quick shifter. First and second gear, sometimes even third, kind of slams, so I don't really use it that much. Or if I'm not really winding up the throttle, you know, you really need to have your revs up high when you're quick shifting, otherwise it kind of shifts pretty hard. So downshifting, I don't use it that much. I normally pull in the clutch, but I love the quick shifter even still. The GS is notorious for being really hard in shifting. The older models, like I said in one of my other videos, older bikes were absolutely atrocious, so that's why anything 2019 and above, 2018 really started doing good, and then 2019 and above, the transmissions are just beautiful. So it still has that characteristic, that rough German kind of, you know, oomph when you're shifting. It kind of feels very substantial, but let me know what you guys think in the comments if I'm explaining that right. But to me, it feels very substantial. It is not like a Honda shifter. Hondas are very smooth, but I like this. It feels very robust when you're shifting. It kind of gives you a little bit more, I don't like the jerk, but I do like that it kind of feels like a substantial movement in the gears. I don't know, I like it. It's just characteristic of the GS. And of course, you cannot do life without heated grips. These things are great. It only has 2 settings on this model. I have high and low and off, of course. So, but man, if I put these things in high, it is so hot, even with my gloves on. Normally I end up having to turn it off unless it's really cold in winter. These things are amazing. I also love that on the bike, if you have the heated grips on, for instance, when I'm riding in winter, because this is my everyday rider, in the winter, if you have them on when you turn the bike off, this is in summer as well, but you don't use it in summer. If you have it on when you turn off the bike, when you turn the bike back on, the grips automatically come to the setting that you had when you turned off the bike. So if it's cold and you're getting on the bike and then you're like, oh crap, I forgot to turn on the heated grips before I leave, now I've got to ride and let it heat up as I go. The grips are basically heating up super fast. As soon as you turn on the bike, while it's warming up, the grips are heating up. As soon as you get on the bike to leave, grips are ready to go. Your hands are already nice and toasty. So I wouldn't even buy another bike nowadays without heated grips. Huge plus. Okay, so this thing does have cornering ABS as well, and which is amazing. Love this thing. ABS Pro is incredible. Just some great features on this bike. I love that I can smash on the brakes when I need them, feel super confident this bike's gonna stop and it's not gonna kind of fishtail or anything like that. I've had several instances on my Tiger where I really had to hit it. It did have ABS, but of course it was a 2011 model, wasn't as good, and I had some problems where I kind of fishtailed a little bit, and that really scared me. So I love this bike. I've had to smash on the brakes a couple of times, really, really hard, and it just, you feel it catching, and you feel the ABS, you know, going in action, and you feel really stable. It almost makes you feel more planted. So love this thing. I love the fact that it has cornering ABS. So if I'm in a corner and I have to hit on the brakes, it's absolutely incredible. It is a lifesaver. It does change the game, guys, and I'm all about safety. I want to feel super confident when I'm on the road, especially on a big bike like this. So ABS, safety, 100%, go for it. There are some, you know, kind of more luxury features on some of these bigger bikes nowadays. I know that the Triumph Tiger even has, the 2022 model has an option where you can get blind spot detection in the mirrors. I think that's definitely coming for the GS. I don't see why they wouldn't do it. I think on an adventure motorcycle, if you're going to do a lot of off-road, that may be overkill, because if you smash your mirrors, I mean, that's like a $500 mirror in that case, and these are not that. So if you're doing a lot of off-road, maybe that's not for you, but for someone like me that's doing a lot of on-road mostly, and I barely take this thing off-road, maybe with some light gravel, but you know, I would love to have blind spot detection. I think it's a lifesaver. So I do not have the adaptive headlights where they kind of follow you and stuff, but my D4s make up for the difference. They're absolutely incredible. I would always recommend you guys get some great auxiliary lights, and Denali makes incredible ones. So the only real issue that I've ever had with this bike, I mean, besides the little weird things here and there with the electronics, very rarely, like I think every once in a while I had something weird happen, maybe like twice out of the whole 9 months I've had the bike now. I've only had like a few things really happen. Maybe I've had it for 6 months. I don't know how long I've had it. But I've only had a few things weird happen, like maybe the screen, it just randomly went black on me one day. Never happened again, just happened once. I don't know, it's just like a glitch. So I turned it off, turned the bike back on, no problem, never happened again, I'm all good. The only other issue that I had that I didn't know that I had until I took it in is the shaft drive. So I went into the dealer, and I don't know if you guys know, there was a recall. They call it not a recall, it's like a service addendum or something. Basically down in here, as you know, I know a lot of people, if you ride through a lot of water or deep water, if you're doing a lot of off-road, people were having problems with their shaft drive actually wearing. There's like a humidity that was kind of collecting in here and damaging the shaft drive. Well, I took it in, they did it, it's a free service. I did it while I was getting my oil changed, and basically they were just putting a little drain in here so that it gets the humidity out. I don't know exactly what it looks like, what they did. Basically, they measured in there, said that my shaft drive was out of a certain range of I don't even know what they called it. It was like my shaft drive was out of a certain range of where it should be. And they said basically because of that, they replaced my entire shaft drive. So, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool of BMW. Like, they actually came through on their service. They fixed the problem. I didn't even know it was a problem. But it does kind of worry me because this is a 2019. I can't, the service addendum, or whatever you want to call it, you guys can correct me in the comments. Basically, I'm just going to call it a recall from now on, because that's basically what it is. The recall on this thing was for a wide range. I think it was like from 2016 or 2017 all the way up through 2021. So if mine's a 2019 and I already had some problems with the shaft drive because of that little problem, I can't imagine what some of the 2017s, 2018s were dealing with. So, and look, there's clearly enough people with problems where it justified them looking deeper into this and coming up with a solution. But as well, I have a ton of people that own these bikes that I ride with on a regular basis that have never had any problems like this. So, you know, not that big of a deal, but I really love that BMW held to their word and they fixed it. It was great. So absolutely love that. BMW service this time was really good. All right, I know I'm very biased, but I think this is the most beautiful motorcycle in the world. I love this thing. I think the power is amazing. The ride's incredible. Why would I want anything else? This bike's incredible, guys. I can't say anything else. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, there's 1,000 videos out there of people saying the same thing I'm saying to you. Maybe you're watching this because you're trying to figure out if you want one, or you have one and you just kind of wanted to keep watching videos like I do all the time. So I don't know how I can ever go to another motorcycle. I would like to try the new Tiger because I did have an old Triumph and I've heard a lot of great things. So the 2022 would be really interesting. I'd love to try an Africa Twin as well, but this thing's been incredible. Rode the Super Tenere. I want to ride a new one. I'm actually going today, I'm going to do a review on a Tracer 900. So if you guys are interested in that, throw it in the comments because I will be releasing that video here in a couple of weeks. If you have the money and you want the best adventure motorcycle in the world, my opinion, this is it, 100%. Of course, I still need to ride a couple of bikes, but there's always new bikes coming out. I can't keep up with it. It's just no way. I know a lot of people kind of talk about the KTM as well. I kind of wonder about the reliability of KTM, and I also kind of wonder about I don't know, a lot of the bike feels very plasticky when I sat on it, the new one, the Super Adventure. So I do understand it has a lot of power. It's very fun to ride. I don't think this bike is simple in any matter. I just think it's different tastes, right? I would love to ride the KTM, but I think comfort-wise and look-wise, I much prefer the GS, and kind of burnt orange is not my thing. I don't know if I want to have a motorcycle that's just completely orange. I know some people like that, but I prefer to have something in black. And I know BMW has a few more options with the color waves that come in their bikes, and they do have some really cool graphics on some of the special editions. All right, guys, so that is it for me and the R1250GS. If you're looking at buying this bike, go for it. Definitely think it's a great option. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. Would love to talk to you guys and answer any questions that you have about my motorcycle. I've been riding it as an everyday rider for quite a while now. Maybe like 6 to 9 months, something like that. I'll try and put it down here, but absolutely love this bike and I couldn't have asked for more. Like and subscribe, guys. It always helps me grow the channel and lets me know what kind of content you guys like. If you see anything that you want to hear more about, throw it in the comments and I'll try and accommodate you guys, make some new content around that. Other than that, catch you guys later, ride safe, and we'll see you on the pavement.